So we are back playing birds, and it's a modified version based off the list that I've circulated in the past for the Tri-Brigade Lyric deck. Now, we're playing this in the parameters of the Exceed Festival Master Duel event. So what does that mean? Well, that means we can't play the Link monsters, because the format says you can only play Exceed monsters as your extra deck monsters, with the exception of some pendulum strategies, which I think Konami should have said no to. But we're playing this strictly Exceeds. It is suboptimal. I want to say that. Do not come into this thinking this is meta, because it's a weird format. Right now I'd say like probably the best deck is Phantom Knight, and I'm saying that without having played any events. Without really having played the event. I would say Phantom Knight is probably the best deck. Maybe Numeron because it can OTK quickly. But I built this because this is the cards I had available in my collection, plus the resources I was willing to spend. So I'm going to go through the deck list real quick. I'm going to talk about the 3 primary ways we're going to play this deck. Okay? So, right off the bat, because I don't really know the meta, I'm going to be playing a lot of hand traps. So as you can see here, I'm playing 10 hand traps. We're playing the 1 DD Crow because it's searchable, and it can be an extender at times. We've gone over how to search this in the past. You have the Recital Starling, you have the Cobalt Sparrow, which on special summon will add a level 1 winged beast monster. So you have realistically 5 ways to search this card. We're going to be playing the Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is a discard from your hand during your opponent's main phase. You can target a face-up effect monster that control negate its effects, assuming you can target it. Really good. It's also level 1. It can help extend. It's serviceable. Cobalt Sparrow is critical. You special summon this. You can add any of your Lyric monsters from your deck to your hand, or the DD Crow, like we just talked about. This is the only one of the few that really can't inherently summon itself, or make use of itself outside of another monster having an interaction with it. Sapphire Swallow we play as an extender. If we control a level 1 winged beast monster, we can special summon it from the hand, and another card. So, it's really good. We normal summon, say, a dead Wagtail in hand, special summon the Sapphire Swallow and the Cobalt Sparrow. We search another card. We immediately have 4 monsters at our disposal. The Turqoise Warbler will start your combos for the most part. If you have no monsters, you can special summon it from the hand. And then if it's special summon, you can also special summon another Lyric monster from your hand or graveyard. So it really gets the ball rolling. And then Beryl Canary is kind of the follow-up. In this case, it's actually a real combo inhibitor, a real combo enabler. In the past, we always use it as follow-up or the end piece in the Lyric Tri-Brigade because it locks you into Exceed monsters, but considering we can only special summon Exceed monsters from our extra deck, we can use this at any time without really having any restriction to it. So we're going to take advantage of that this evening. But if it's in your hand, target a Lyric monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and this monster. So you special summon both the monster from your graveyard and from your hand. And then I'm only playing 2 Wagtail. Reason being, Wagtail, similar to the Cobalt Sparrow, really has no interaction unless there's another card to facilitate its ability to get to the field. At best, it lets you search Bird Call, which then lets you extend. And at its worst, it's just another material in the graveyard that you can equip to another Exceed monster you control. So it's serviceable. It's not the best. I'm not going to say it's a combo starter like the Warbler or the Sapphire Swallow or the Beryl Canary. It's okay. It's kind of meh. In the most actual Tri-Brigade Lyric decks, you only played it 1, and really it's just kind of there as a follow-up for getting a bigger assembled Nightingale, getting another material on Recital Starling, Promenade Thrush giving you another bounce, realistically, its best application is putting another Compulse on the Ensemblue. So we're playing 3 Maxx C. You have to play it. I really don't know what this format looks like. I don't think it's slow, but I also don't think it's necessarily fast. Maxx C is just never a bad card. Ash Blossom in the same boat. It has so much utility. I don't know what we're going up against, and if I were going into battle, I would want Ash in my hand at all times. Foolish Burial kind of kickstarts the combo, puts pieces in the graveyard, especially for Warbler interaction or Beryl Canary interaction. 1-for-1 is the same way. 1-for-1 can also turbo out the Cobalt Sparrow, which will also get the combo rolling. And Bird Call is our in-archetype search spell. It will special summon a Lyric monster from the deck and either add it to the hand. It will add a Lyric monster from the deck to your hand and either add it or send it. And then if you have another Lyric monster in your hand with a different name, you can special summon it to the field. So that can get the Cobalt Sparrow rolling. That can get the Wagtail rolling. This is a combo starter. And because I don't know what's going on, we are playing a ton of hate for other decks. We're playing 3 Twin Twister because I imagine the Phantom Knight being a loner deck means we're going to be running into Fogblade. This deck struggles against Fogblade. So the Twin Twister's in there to deal with the loner deck. We're playing Called by the Grave because it's never a bad card either. You hit the Ash Blossom, you hit the Maxx C, you hit whatever else they may throw our way. Forbidden Droplet, if we're going second, this is arguably the strongest card in the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG at the moment. Because right now, if you're keeping up with the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, you understand that the Brave engine is facilitating all of these degenerate decks, which are 40 to 60 card mashups of the best level 3 engines to get into either cards like Cherubini or Needle Fiber, so they can turbo out Destiny Hero Phoenix Destroyer plus Dagda to set Scythe. So if you're keeping up with the TCG, you know how crazy Forbidden Droplet is. And in this, it lets us play through a lot of stuff. It also lets us put cards in the graveyard so we can enable our Beryl, Canary, and our Warbler plays. So this is how we're going to roll. Ice Dragon's Prison is also just good disruption if we're going first. You special summon a card from your opponent's graveyard. If you special summon it, it has the same type as a card your opponent controls, you can banish both of them. Really good spot removal that does not target. It lets you play around a lot of cards. Also just good utility. Sometimes it could even be an extender for us. We steal something like an Effect Veiler. So the loner deck doesn't have Fogblade. Okay, good to know. Good to know. To be honest, I know nothing about this event other than we can only play Exceed Monsters, so I'm playing this. And we're looking at the extra deck. I threw together just some level 1s that I had in here. I really don't think the Lionheart is going to do a whole lot for us, but similarly to the Recital Starling, it forces our opponent to take battle damage instead of us taking battle damage. The Utopic Future goes hand in hand with the Utopic Draco. Makes it easier to summon for us because all we need is 2 level 1 monsters. And we're going to be playing the Princess Sprite because the Princess Sprite lets us get to the Spell and Trap card lineup that we have. So we detach material, excavate the top card of our deck. If it's a Spell and Trap card, add to our hand. Otherwise, send the card to the graveyard. So lets us get stuff like Ice Dragon's Prison, Forbidden Droplet, Called by, Twin Twister, etc. Recital Starling we've been over in the past. You detach, can add any level 1 Winged Beast monster. So that gets us DD Crow, gets us any Luceric monster, and then it has this special effect. All battle damage you take from battles involving this Exceed monster are inflicted to your opponent. So you couple that with something like Assembled Nightingale, which says you can detach a material until the end of this turn. Luceric monsters you control can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. Also, you take no battle damage. So you won't be taking any of the battle damage with the Recital Starling. Your opponent takes all of it. So if you swing into a 3,000 attack monster, normally you take the 3,000, but because the Assembled Nightingale effect is being applied, only they're taking the 3,000. Similarly, you also have the Assembled Nightingale being able to attack equal to the number of materials it has attached, and it can also gain 200 attack for each material attached to it. So, we could build this up to a 6 material Assembled Nightingale. Suddenly that's swinging for 1,800 6 times. Easy way to cheese out a win, depending on what they have available. Similarly to the Assembled Nightingale, we're also going to be playing the Fucho. Fucho is unaffected by all their cards. This isn't a terrible first turn play. I'm not saying it's a good first turn play by any means because there really isn't a huge good first turn play. But Fucho kind of lets us stall, build into something else, and then if we can summon another rank 1 monster, we can go into Utopic Draco Future the next turn, or we can attack with a Fucho, then summon the Divine Arsenal Zeus, which unfortunately is at 1. In the TCG, we'd 100% be playing 3 of these in this deck. With that, the Utopic Draco Future is our main boss monster. It's a monster negate that will also take control of the monster negate is activated on field. So let's say they summon a monster like Torguide of the Underworld, and we negate it. We're going to take control of it as well. Gives our opponent 1 less monster to work with. It's really good. It also can't be destroyed by card effects or battle. So it's a really big monster. We sit on it. We can not attach any more material to it, but we can make use of the 3 materials it will have. We have the Ensemblue Robin. As we've talked about in the past, it's a compulse if your opponent special summons a monster. So going first, we're going to prioritize summoning the Ensemblue Robin. And then if it hits the graveyard, we can add a Luceric monster from our grave to the hand. So it lets us recycle our cards. We can put back the Recital Starlings if we want to. We're playing Promenade Thrush because I don't have any other level 1s, and this was easy to craft. It is a Luceric monster, so it gets the benefit of having the ability to couple with Wagtail and Sapphire Swallow to attach more material to it. And unlike the other Luceric monsters, it gains 500 for each material, so this can get kind of big rather quick. It also lets us detach a material, shuffle back spell and trap cards our opponent controls. So it has some utility in that. Unfortunately, that's not a quick play effect. I wish it was. When I was reading it, I was like, oh, this is crazy. Maybe I should consider playing this in real life. No, I'm not. Downer Magician is to give us more material for our eventual Zeus. And obviously, Zeus is our grandiose board wipe. This is our game ender. I see us needing this a lot tonight. I don't see us playing it a whole lot, though, because I think people will scoop once they see the Utopic Draco future, plus whatever else we summon. So let's get into this. We're going to play a couple games of this tonight, probably till about 11:30. And we're going to see how my mood is, because the last time we tried something crazy like this, which was the Drytron, I was getting frustrated. But we're going to run with this. I think this list is solid enough to be able to climb through this event. I don't think it's, again, I don't think this is meta by any means. So don't watch the video on demand the next morning and be like, oh, I'm going to go out and build this deck. Don't do that. Watch my Luciri Tri-Brigade videos if you want to build a meta bird deck. So right off the bat, we're going first. We have a very playable hand. We've got the Sapphire Swallow, the Beryl Canary. We have an Effect Veil and a Called By. We're not going to lose to Maxx C with this hand. And we'll be able to put up a sizable board with the Recital Starling plays. So, have the Beryl Canary, Sapphire Swallow. I'm going to add the... I'm going to add the Wagtail here. Reason being, I want to get another bird call in my hand for next turn as follow-up. Because, again, this isn't the craziest of hands. So I'm going to special summon the Beryl Canary here, because we can use the Sapphire Swallow to summon both itself and the Wagtail without using our normal summon. Now, we could be playing the Luciri spell and trap cards. I'm going to be very frank with you. I've read them very loosely. I think Bird Call is really the only one worth playing, although we could play Bird Strike, which is, in a way, a Dark Ruler no more. I still don't think it's worth playing, though. So, what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to search the Beryl Canary. Because... Actually, I guess we don't have to search the Beryl Canary yet. We can normal summon first. So, actually, let's normal summon. We're going to add the Cobalt Sparrow. Normal summon it. Then make another Recital Starling. Then go for the Beryl Canary play. So, we'll use the 2 Recital Starlings to make the Utopic Draco future. And then Beryl Canary to summon the Ensemblue using the Sapphire Swallow to put 3 material on it. I don't want to use Sapphire Swallow's effect here. It's critical because you want to be able to do it later in the turn. So I think we can get a 4 material Ensemblue on this. Exactly. Yeah, the Bird Strike, the normal spell card that we referred to earlier, would be broken if it were a quick play spell. It is not. I believe it also requires you to control a Luciric Exceed monster. So you kind of have to bait some stuff out and then do all of that, which is it's just kind of annoying shenanigans. And our opponent's scooping. Like I said, this was going to happen. I think they're going to disconnect once they see the Utopic Draco future, because I don't know how many decks in this event ladder realistically can play through this. He can't Nibiru us now. I don't know if Nibiru is also legal to play, but there's a lot of shenanigans you can still do with this deck versus some of the other Exceed decks. I know they just came out with the, what do you call it? The Cypher / Galaxy Eyes deck specifically for the event. Plus, you can go out and buy the Utopia deck. If you're not willing to invest your gems and your UR dust into those decks, they're not worth playing. I would just play something simple like this, where most of, if not all, the cards are rares and maybe a couple supers. Plus, if you're looking to play Tri-Brigade, which a lot of people are because it's one of the most popular decks in this game, you likely have a couple of these cards already. So, as you saw, we just made a 4 material Ensemblue. We've got the Utopic Draco future with 3 negates available to it. And we're going to set the Called By with the Effect Veiler in hand. And we have follow-up for next turn as well. So, I don't see how our opponent plays through potentially 7 forms of interruption here. At worst, this is like 3 or 4 forms of interruption. But there's a lot that even with that weird hand, it still was pretty salvageable. Like that's why I think this is one of the better decks to play. But again, don't take this format as like, oh, we're playing a suicide deck. I don't think this player knows that you can't do that anymore. So if you've been keeping up with the Master Duel event, they made it so you can't suicide and get points for it unless they're just playing. Now I guess they are playing a suicide deck. You can still get the points? I thought they made it so that you couldn't get the points. Oh, they up the amount you get if you win? Okay. Each player combines it with 4 additional cards chosen at random. I'm going to add... Well, I want the Ash Blossom. Damn. I got the effect failure. I feel like this stream isn't going to be all that great because it's just people playing the suicide deck on the ladder so they can get the points. So, just run you guys through it real quick. The thought process behind the suicide decks in Master Duel for this event are that it's quicker to lose games than it is to sit here and play out a full game. A lot of people anticipated Master Duel being like Duel Links in terms of its speed. Duel Links made it so you could play a game somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes because not only the pace of play is defined by how many cards you can play at one time, but also the way they shift the meta, every other month essentially. In Master Duel though, it's not nearly as quick as people thought it was going to be. Games can still take sometimes anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. I played an hour-long duel on Master Duel once. So it's, in a lot of ways, it's quicker to just kind of kill yourself in this game using these suicide decks than it is to sit here and win a duel. So for some players, you'll see people just play decks that either deck them out really quickly or they use cards that force them to pay all their life points, and they lose the game that way because you're still going to get points for losing. But they incentivize players to not do this by making it so you get a ton of value for winning. So we don't need the effect failure, so I'm just going to discard the effect failure. Here comes the gift card. It's going to give us 3,000 life points. Here comes the Paths of Destiny. Here comes the bad reaction to Samuchi, to which we're going to chain the Twin Twister, discarding the Forbidden Droplet. Oh no. Took 2,000. We're in lethal range now. So, gonna activate the bird call. All we have to do is grab the Beryl Canary, add it to our hand, special summon the Beryl Canary from the graveyard. Go into the Promenade Thrush, just swing for game. Opponent made it really easy to just throw. This is what this event is, and it sucks because I kind of would like to take it seriously, but at the same time, they made this massive ban list, as you probably saw. It's got 4,000 cards on it, and people are just playing the game this way because it's not worth the time to sit here and grind, and I don't blame them. Don't disconnect. You won't get the points that way. not gonna use the effect. Didn't realize that it was gonna proc an effect each time. So, a few extra clicks. Should hit level 16, I think, after this one as well. So we got 500 medals. Oh, actually, we don't get any XP for this. Oh, they give you a lot of gems for this. How many tiers to this event are there? Holy crap. Oh, of course, your gems start immediately getting diminished the moment you get past a particular point, though. Yikes. So this hand is a brick. And this will happen because we're missing the Tri-Brigade stuff, which boosts consistency. Oh, we're playing the mirror. This is getting ashed immediately. If you're looking to play this and you're watching the video on demand in the morning, you can also get away with probably playing Troll and Lockbird in this format. That's probably something that we may want to consider just because it's another level 1. But it is not a winged beast, despite you might thinking it would be with bird in its name. It is a spellcaster. Something that would actually be really good to play in this particular deck, if it was available, would be something like Small World. Small World is a really good card because you can use other cards to build up into a particular card you need. So you would reveal something like a effect failure in your hand, right? And what you would do is you'd search your deck specifically for a card that shares a stat line with it. So what do I mean by stat line? Well, either like an attribute, they both are, say light monsters, right? Or it's level 1. So you can kind of get through that way. So we could use something like Effect Failure to reveal a DD Crow. And then DD Crow would, because it's a winged beast, let us search any winged beast monster. He's really going to judgment that? Alright. Jesus. So Ice Dragon's Prison actually kind of wins us this game as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to set both Ice Dragon Prisons. And we're going to pass. If he has another bird monster and he goes into an Exceed monster and he detaches at any point during that, we can then summon... You're kidding me. Alright, well, I'm just going to summon out the Celestial Wagtail, and we're going to get... We're not going to get the effect for this, but we're going to banish the Cobalt Sparrow that he has. Yep. We do have to banish both, right? Yeah, we have to banish both. Okay. So that puts him at an immediate disadvantage because now he has no birds in hand. He's got no birds in grave. But we also have nothing going for us. So this is interesting. Ash. I don't want to give up the Wagtail just in case we get something like a Warbler again. Or if we get something like a Bird Call. Twin Twister, Jesus. So, I mean, the benefit here is we have the Ash Blossom to stop anything our opponent may be able to do, but we're not in a great position. Did not open ideal to be going second. I don't think it really mattered because our opponent had the Feather Duster in their opening hand regardless. Well, we can play now if our opponent wants to do something. So I'm going to set the Wagtail at this point as an added protection. I don't think they're going to be setting very many cards, so I think the Twin Twister's kind of dead in this deck, or at least in this matchup. But we're not sweating. And I stand corrected. Mm. We're getting stream sniped? Why couldn't you be level 1? I'm going to deal with these back row now while I have the opportunity to. The droplet is going to be useless in this matchup because we're not going to be staring down any real negates unless they have the Utopic Draco feature, but the Maxx C and the Ash are a big enough deterrent to stop our opponent from using them. They're setting where Arfthau and Lightning Storm. I feel like you just you just hold the Lightning Storm. You didn't have to set that. The where Arfthau I can understand as a bluff because you neither have a level 1 nor do I, but Lightning Storm is not a good bluff. This was usable at any moment in time because he had no face-up cards on his field. So, as you see, we're just kind of in this endless cycle of turn pass. He could have held that with no real disadvantage to him. And now we have the ability to combo off. Unless we walk into a card like Psyframe Gamma, which if he has the Psyframe Gamma, Lord help me. It'd just be funny if he did. He has the Maxx C. Thank God we have the Ash for it. He can't called by us during our turn because he doesn't have it set. So we're free to combo. He may just scoop now. Yep. Yeah, you don't have Ash. I mean, you don't have Gamma for this, so. Beryl Canary will resolve. We're now locked into Exceed monsters, but that's fine because we can't play the Tri-Brigade stuff, so we don't have to worry about interrupting our combo lines because everything is just an Exceed anyway. We also did not use our normal summon in that process, so we can do a lot here. I'm going to make the Recital Starling play, and we are also going to, I think, just go for the Utopic Draco feature. I really doubt he's playing Nibiru, but the Recital Starling will at least be able to get us whatever combo pieces we don't already have. I'm just going to detach the Wagtail here, and I'm going to search Fetch Veiler. Ugh. It does everything, huh? Alright, so change of plans. We're just going Zeus. We can make a 4-material Zeus using the Wagtail onto the Recital Starling because we can still attack even though it can do no damage. So we're going to use the Downer Magician. We're just going to make a 4-material Zeus. Pass on that. He's got 1 card in hand. At this point, we know he has no real usable birds, so I think we're just fine. And then next turn, because the Zeus is a threat, he's likely not going to summon anything, and we'll have the Warbler on field still. So, you know, it wasn't the worst result. And make sure you summon the Zeus in defense because we know he's playing Lightning Storm already. If we summon the Zeus in attack, he'd be able to Lightning Storm clear our monsters. But he blew the Lightning Storm earlier when he shouldn't have. So we could have played him as if we were dumb. Normal summoned it, special summoned it in attack position. He could have Lightning Stormed it. But we're not dumb. You know, you've seen the credentials on the YouTube page. You understand what's going on here. And we're going to Maxx C here. It's going to get us a draw because he's using the effect. So he's going to summon 1 from the hand. You have to commit. You activate the effect. Yep, there's the Wagtail. Cool, we're getting a Warbler. Sure. Wagtail's going to get on the bird call. And what's going to happen here is the bird call is likely going to search from a Beryl Canary so we can play around the Zeus. At least that's what I would do. So, actually, he's going to go straight for the Recital Starling. On the summon of the Recital Starling, we're going to Zeus. Yeah. And we need to make sure we're detaching our birds. Reason being, if we draw into a Beryl Canary, or in the event that he wipes everything, we can use the Warbler effect in Graveyard. So there's the bird call. I'm going to Ash this. I don't need to use the other Zeus yet. So normally what he would do is he would search the Beryl Canary. Because we drew into the Ash off the Maxx C, it gives us the freedom to not have to Zeus. So we keep that extra board wipe for follow-up, and we're just going to swing for 3,000 direct. I really think he should just scoop in this moment. There's really no way he can play around this, because even if he top decks the Beryl Canary next turn, and now it actually just means nothing because we drew into the best anti-Beryl Canary, anti-Warbler card possible. So we're just going to go battle, swing for 3,000. If he Lightning Storms us, that's fine. We have the Warbler as follow-up ourselves. So our opponent has nothing going for him. We have all gas. We've got a Zeus board wipe. We've got the Called by the Grave, Warbler's follow-up. Plus, we've got really good cards in the graveyard to special summon. The Wagtail in particular is the best card possible in this moment to special summon, because we don't have access to the Cobalt Sparrow, but the Wagtail will get us access to the Cobalt Sparrow plus the Sapphire Swallow or the other Beryl Canary. Our opponent's just conceding. He's just going to swing into the Zeus. Sure. Nice knowing you. And that is how you master the mirror match in this awful event format. I knew exactly what our opponent was going to do. He really had no play around that. Zeus is an insane card. Again, and I understand why it's at 1, because it is the best Exceed monster in the game by a long shot. If it were at 3, this would just be the worst event ever. Eldritch, thankfully you can't play Eldritch and stuff like that. But if you were playing Eldritch, you'd just be having a terrible time, because every time you try to do something, Zeus would just wipe the field. Trap Trick would also be having a terrible time. Those slow, trap decks, not be having fun. So we're going first. We actually have full combo, assuming this doesn't get Ash Blossomed. Warbler's going to special summon itself. On special summon, it will special summon Cobalt Sparrow from the hand. He has something activatable, and he just scoops anyway. I'm curious to see what he had, because he just conceded. Gave us the free 500 metal. Can you look at your opponent's decks in this? I just want to take a look real quick. Yeah, match history. Gimmick Puppets. Okay. Oh, he's playing the Crooked Cook deck. So, what was activatable here was the Maxx C. At least I'm inclined to believe so. To which he shouldn't have just scooped. He should have just played through. But I don't think, if we go back and look at that one more time, I don't think he's playing anything as the follow-up for the Maxx C. Yeah, he's got the 1 Lightning Storm, which means he bought the bundle. He's got the Feather Dust of the Regeki, but none of that stops the Utopic Draco future. And he's not playing the Forbidden Droplet, so there's no way that the Gimmick Puppet was playing through the Draco future. Plus the Ensemblue and everything. So he made the right call, probably. Another deck that I know in this format, I'd imagine, because I didn't see it on the ban list, is the Cleefort deck. And like I said, some of those Pendulum decks are a little degenerate. The Cleefort deck can build is what created the Towers equivalent in the Yu-Gi-Oh, lexicon, right? So when people say Towers, what does that mean? That means they're summoning a monster that's unaffected by basically everything else in the game. Cleefort's were the real original deck to do that. It's a Pendulum deck that tries to tribute summon this monster, and you can't really touch it. As far as I'm aware, it's unaffected by what the ban list said, so there's a lot going for it in that way. This is an interesting hand. We've got the 1-for-1, the Cobalt Sparrow, the Beryl Canary. I'm actually just going to 1-for-1 here, pitching the Cobalt Sparrow, and then summoning the Cobalt Sparrow. This will probably be met with an Ash Blossom, and if it is, that's actually better for us, because the Beryl Canary... Ooh. Tenyi, okay. Well, I'm not gonna say it's Tenyi. It's a vanilla dragon monster deck or worm monster deck. That's actually fine though, because the Beryl Canary can summon the Cobalt Sparrow from the graveyard and still trigger its effect. And this is now going to resolve because we had priority passed immediately back to us. So I've showed you guys in the past on the YouTube channel and on Twitch how to read the clock. We just read the clock really well. That's also fine. Because the Cobalt Sparrow will be able to search just the Warbler, which the Warbler just gets us our full combo anyway. So he just threw 2 traps at us. It really did nothing. You know. I mean, the downfall here is we've already used the Beryl, Canary, and now the Warbler. But it doesn't make a difference because we still have full combo. The difference here is that we now can't go into the Utopic Draco future. But I've got this Ice Dragon's Prison to steal a card from his graveyard. I've also got the Ash and the Effect Failure. I have no concern here. I can tell by what he's playing that it's definitely not something consistent. Because if he's playing a deck that revolves around the 10-yi spell and trap cards, he's not playing the 10-yi monsters because he can't get the value out of them because he can't use the Monk or the Berserker and so forth. So there's a lot that this deck that he's playing does not have going for it. He's likely going to concede shortly after this resolves because what we're going to do is we're going to have the Beryl Canary here as follow-up for next turn. Swing directly with the Recital Starling. Recital Starling only has 2 material, so I think we're just going to summon a Zeus. Pass on the Zeus with the Ash Blossom, the Effect Veil, and the Ice Dragon's Prison. Yeah, he's going to scoop here. There was no recovering from the card advantage that we generated just through 2 cards. You know, even at this deck's absolute pack opening when they drop the Sword Soul pack is when we're opening another pack. I'm saving my gems for that. You know, if we go back to the main screen here, I've got 2,400 gems. That's going to Sword Soul. Oh no, the Exceed tickets. Where are the Exceed tickets? Holy crap, they gave us another 400 gems. How do you access the Exceed tickets? Shop? Okay. Bonus pack. Oh, is this where everybody's pulling the A-Zeus? That meme? So we get at least 4 super rares. A Tiras, Photon Strike Bouncer, Mind Crush. That's actually really cool. That's a good one. Ooh, two ultras. There's an A-Zeus. Let me guess, you can't dismantle these. Ugh. Alright, so they're doing the Duel Links where they give you a endless amount of cards that you can't dismantle or do anything with. Okay. That's funny. Well played, Konami. I'll just collect endless A-Zeuses. So realistically by the end of this event I'll have about 40. They should let you dismantle event and legacy pack cards for other legacy and event cards. Like if I miss an event, right, and I have 40 A-Zeuses, I want to be able to dismantle some of those A-Zeuses into, say, cards I don't have, like Photon Strike Bouncers, because I may not get as many Photon Strike Bouncers as I'd like, and I'm not going to go out of my way to craft Photon Strike Bouncers. Now, if this gets Ash Tier, we actually are in trouble. Wagtail plus Cobalt Sparrow does nothing for us, but Bird Call would have special summoned one of them from the hand, generating us card advantage. This is going to be met with Ash here. This is not pretty. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set the Wagtail because I don't want to get OTK'd. I don't know what our opponent is playing at this point because all I've seen is the Ash Blossom. But I feel confident in the Ice Dragon's Prison and the Effect Failure that we have that we can play. One deck in particular, now that I'm thinking about it, that may be salvageable based on what's currently meta would be a deck like Virtual World, which we're playing into, and I was actually just getting to that. But because we're playing with the Ice Dragon's Prison, the Virtual World deck actually has a lot of issues because we can go Ice Dragon's Prison, summon a worm or a psychic monster, and if they have a worm or psychic monster on the field, banish it. So Lao Lao here has to send to activate its effect. we can then summon realistically whatever he sends off of the Lau. He's sending the Qinglong. Okay. Doesn't do anything for him. What he's going to do here is he's going to banish the Qinglong. He's going to have to discard a card after this resolve. So he's going to search a virtual world monster and then have to send a card to the graveyard. Likely it's going to be a card like Lulu. Yep, there's the Lulu. Sure. And this will actually, again, it'll still open up the plays into resolving the Ice Dragon's Prison. The Lulu is a psychic. The Lau is a psychic. And the Nian is a psychic. What is not a psychic are the Gigi, the Lili, and the... There's another one. The name escapes me. I believe there's 4 psychics, 3 main deck worms. And then the extra deck is also pretty split 50-50. There's 2/2, which is another level 6 psychic. Just want to check the lock. So he's adding the GG, which is one of the worms. Sure. He can't synchro summon here for 2 reasons. Obviously, you can't play synchro summon. You can't play synchro monsters at all. But also, he's got 2 tuners on field, so you can't synchro summon with 2 tuners traditionally. Maybe there's some anime instance where you could, but he's got the Lili. The GG here will again target a card on the field, send a card of an opposite type. So card type, right? So if he targets a monster, he has to send a spell or trap. I'm gonna say that's fine. At any point, we can summon the Lau with the Ice Dragon's Prison to banish. And I think the time to do it is right now. Because he could make a... I want him to commit all of his cards that he has. The downfall is we're going to make the Chuche live. Which... I think realistically we lost this matchup anyway. Our hand was not good. He's got the Maxx C. Yeah, this is a lost cause. So the Ice Dragon's Prison is going to summon both the... It's going to summon the extra Lau from his graveyard. We're going to banish the Lulu and the GG. Now, what does he have to do here? Well, he just drew 1 card. So he's going to have to use the Chuche in graveyard to banish itself to increase or decrease the level of a monster on his field by 3. So the GG can go up to 6. The Lau can go down to 3. He's not going to want to make the Lau 9. He's not going to want to make the... you can't make the GG have 0 level. 1 is the lowest it can go. So the GG is going to go to 3 here. It's going to go up by 3 here. It's going to go to 6. It also enables the Chuche to now be live because he has 4 cards banished. Chuche just has to shuffle back 2 virtual world cards. So he's got 4. He can do that twice realistically now. Now he's going to summon out the Fan, the Utopia Beyond, or he may be playing something like M7. Photon Strike Bounds is another card. Traditionally, you wouldn't see this in a virtual world deck in the TCG or in Master Duel because there's simply better cards. There's other ways to play around this, but you don't need to use this. What's really interesting about this is this only negates monsters that activate on field, and a lot of our Lyrilusc monsters activate in hand. So we can play around this. He can't activate the GG. And we can't do anything. I'm going to concede this. I don't care so much about the gems, because I just care more about getting more duels in, getting more content for you guys. But that was pretty unwinnable. Opponent had everything they needed. We did not open well because we opened 2 of the birds that don't have inherent ways to get themselves onto the field. So we're going first again. Is this the same person? I wish there was more customization. No, it's not the same person. Okay. Sometimes it's hard to tell if you're playing against the same person or not. Now, this hand has everything we need. So, we've got the Bird Call, we've got the Sapphire Swallow, we've got the Warbler. I'm going to Bird Call here to start. If this is met with the Ash, we're golden. We can search the Cobalt Sparrow freely now. I'm going to add the Cobalt Sparrow here, and I'm going to elect to not special summon any of them. Because what we're going to do is we're going to Turqoise Warbler here, special summon the Cobalt Sparrow simultaneously. Once this effect effect will resolve in hand, special summon itself. Summon out the Cobalt Sparrow to grab another level 1 monster. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add the Wagtail. Because we can summon the Wagtail off of the Sapphire Swallow to get another Bird Call for next turn. Which the Bird Call for next turn at worst is also just discard fodder for the Twin Twister. So we're going to go into the Recital Starling. We're going to search our Beryl Canary. Don't need to use the effect. Going to detach the Cobalt Sparrow. It doesn't really matter what you detach on this one, because neither of those are going to activate. So Sapphire Swallow here. Summoning out the Wagtail. Wagtail on summon will grab you the Bird Call. So we have follow-up for next turn. Or we have discard fodder for the Twin Twister. Gonna make the other Recital Starling. Now this you can start to go a little crazy with if you want to. You can search either another bird for next turn, something like a Warbler, which would special summon in the event that your board gets cleared. But I want to play it super conservatively, so I'm going to search the DD Crow as another form of interruption. And again, it does not matter what you detach here because everything's just going to get detached for the Utopic future anyway. You just want to make sure that you can summon the Sapphire Swallow with the Beryl Canary so that you can get a 4 material Ensemblue. That's the key to this. So we're going to summon the Utopic Draco future. Here is where he could Nibiru us. He doesn't have it. And now we can go for Utopic Draco future, knowing all well that if he Nibirus us here, he better have the Infinite Impermanence, which again, priority did not pass back to him. Actually, didn't pass to him at all in that moment. So we were in the clear. Now we can go Beryl Canary. Make sure you target the Sapphire Swallow, because when Sapphire Swallow is used for an Exceed summon once per turn, you can attach another material from the graveyard. And we already have the Wagtail, which can do that at any moment as well. So we're going to go into the Ensemblue here. If you wanted to get greedy, you could go for the Princess Sprite to try to, grab another spell or trap card. But we don't want to do that. We just want to play it safe. We're going to grab the Ensemblue here. It's protected. And we're going to equip the Cobalt Sparrow. And then we're going to equip the Wagtail. So if my memory serves me correctly, this is going to go up to 2,200. Yep. And we've got 3 cards in hand. 2 of them are Interruption, and others follow-up for next turn. We also have the Twin Twister set. The Utopic Draco future is a Monster Negate, and this is a compulsory evacuation device for special summon monsters. So if our opponent tries to Exceed summon on us, Ensemblue just bounce it back to the hand or the extra deck. And if it leaves the field, we can add a Lyrilusc monster from grave to hand. So Toon Page Flip, he's going to add a Toon World or a card that specifically names Toon World in it. This is actually really good that we have the Twin Twister for this, because if we pop the Toon World or the Toon Kingdom, our opponent really can't make use of the Toon monsters because some of them have clauses that you need to have Toon World in order to get full advantage of them. So this actually works out pretty well. So Toon Kingdom. On activation, this is going to trigger, so I'm going to DD Crow this. Sorry, Twin Twister this immediately. I don't think DD Crow is good now at this point, so we're just going to pop both of these. Hit a Jar of Greed, so our opponent is fairly casual. We can make that assertion here because that's very slow. You wouldn't play Jar of Greed. It's a trap card you have to set. Then you can draw 1 card. It's very slow. I know you can't play a lot of the pot cards in this format, but that's not the right call. So our opponent's going to go to the end phase here. They had to set this. You know, they needed something so they don't get OTK'd. They don't realize that, you know, we really don't have that potential just yet, but we do have the Lyrilusc Bird call. We can actually summon the DD Crow with the Beryl Canary. Or the Turqoise Warb, you know, or we could just go for the Turqoise Warbler, which is what we're going to do. So it's just the Beryl Canary here. And we're going to go into the... Well, we're out of Recital Starling, so... Look at our extra deck here. We've got the Promenade Thrush. We could do some damage on that. Go for the Ensemblue Nightingale. But I want to dig, so I'm going to be a little greedy here. I'm going to go for the Princess Sprite. See if we can get another Spell or Trap card. Ice Dragon's Prison isn't necessarily good in this matchup because they all still have a lot of different types. But we have enough damage, and we can set on top of the Princess Sprite the Zeus afterwards, which would also just be kind of a nail in our opponent's coffin. Because there's really no recovery from this. They lost the Toon Kingdom. Toon World doesn't get them there either because they have to activate it, and the Zeus could wipe the field. So Princess Sprite's going to reveal Sapphire Swallow. No big deal. We dug a little bit. Going to go for Battle Phase now. Princess Sprite. Swing. Utopic Draco Future. Swing. Yeah, this is a turn 1 deck. I'm playing some Go Second stuff just because I don't know what's in this particular format. This is my first time playing it all week. So I really don't know what's out there. Now, I'm going to be playing the Downward Magician on top of the Princess Sprite here. And the reason being is if he rips into a card like Lightning Storm, it won't destroy the Zeus because we're going to summon it in defense. But because he destroyed another card on the field, the Zeus can attach a card from the graveyard as material to itself. So we could get a 4th material onto Zeus in the event that he does have a Lightning Storm. Because we could... He'd clear the Ensemblue, right? The Utopic Draco Future can't be destroyed by card effects. So we'd still have that as follow-up. If not, then we just emptied another card from our extra deck. It's no big deal. The Downward is specifically for the Zeus. The Downward can become a big card, right? You know, I think if we had summoned it, it would have been 2,700 attack. But I don't really care so much about that. To me, it's just another material for Zeus. And for a lot of players, they think that same thought, so it's really not that great. Necroface here is mandatory effect. I'm just going to hit this with effect failure. Our opponent is genuinely lost here. At this point, there's nothing they can do to clear the Zeus because he can't Lightning Storm while he controls a face-up card. He also probably isn't playing Forbidden Droplet because, again, it's another card where you have to put a lot of your resources into. He's just going to crash into this, or I guess he's going to let to not attack. I don't know what's going on here. Sure, you can attack, bud. Yep. Leave himself at 100 life points. Now we're not going to do anything. We're just going to no BM. Guys, I don't like BMing our opponents, so we're just going to attack. We don't have to do anything extra. Let's make this quick and easy so we can get as many duels in tonight, get a lot of content for you guys, because I know you guys like watching these. Now, again, for those who have joined since the start of this stream, do not look at this as being an optimal list. This is how I'm playing it specifically for this event, and I also don't think this event is well managed. I think there's still a lot of degenerate stuff out there. The Virtual World deck is primarily untouched, and you can still go into the True King of all calamities if you play your cards right. Now, I also think there's some degenerate stuff out there because the Phantom Knight deck can summon out the Rongo, I think, to my knowledge, unless that's banned. I know there's a special ban list. There's too many cards to keep track of what's on there because there's 4,000 cards on that list, realistically. But I know there's some degenerate stuff out there. There is, you can still Rongo someone. And there's cards like the Endymion deck or the Magical Beast deck. So if you're unfamiliar with Pendulum Monsters, that deck is probably one of the higher strength Pendulum decks. What it can do is it can amass a lot of spell counters, and you can remove spell counters to negate monster effects, spell and trap effects. There's a lot that does. Now, I want to start here by activating Foolish Burial. Reason being, we can see if our opponent has Ash. Priority did not pass to him, so that means we're kind of free to do whatever we want. So I'm going to dump the... This is tough. I'm going to dump the Wagtail, because I don't want to have to draw into that next turn. And what we're going to do is here, we're going to 1-for-1, sending the other Wagtail to grave. And we're going to special summon out the Cobalt Sparrow. Cobalt Sparrow on summon will grab us a level 1 Winged Beast monster. So we can then use that with the Sapphire Swallow. We haven't used our normal summon yet either. Warbler can also trigger here to grab the Wagtail from the graveyard. So we're going to go Sapphire Swallow, summon itself in the Warbler. And then Warbler, because it's special summon from the hand, will be able to trigger to grab the Wagtail from graveyard, grabbing us the bird call that we didn't start the turn with. So now the bird call is in our hands. We don't have to activate it this turn. I'm going to hold it because it's follow-up for next turn. Because we can get the Beryl Canary anyway off of the Recital Starling. So if our opponent has Nibiru here, we can play through Nibiru. Reason being, we can then activate the bird call to add the Beryl Canary. Our opponent doesn't have Nibiru because priority passed to us rather quickly after I said no to the Recital Starling. So we're good to just kind of combo here. So we're going to have the Beryl Canary. We're going to take the other 2 birds on our field and make the other Recital Starling to search the DD Crow. So we have another form of interruption because we're going to do that same board we played last game where we end on the Utopic Draco Future and the 4 material Ensemblue. If I were, if you guys want to play this deck, that's the ideal first turn play. Is to have the DD Crow in hand, the Utopic Draco Future, and the Ensemblue, and whatever else you have as an added bonus. But as you saw, it was a weird opening. We had both the Foolish Burial and the 1-for-1. We didn't have anything that really could facilitate our play outside of the 1-for-1, but we made it work, and we still ended up on this. So there's a lot you can do with this deck still, even without the Tri-Brigades, but understand it is far less consistent. There's a reason people don't play the bird deck solo in the TCG or in the OCG because it's not really viable. There's a lot that this deck struggles to do. Yes, it has a lot of cool utility like this, but cards like Beryl Canary outside of this format would lock you into Exceed monsters. And this it's okay because we can only play Exceed monsters, but in the TCG you want to have access to all your Link monsters. Our opponent realizes what we're going to do here, and I think they made the right decision to scoop. It saves them the time. They can then enter another game rather quickly. It also helps us just progress through the battle pass for this particular event. If we look at the rewards here, I already have 3,500, which means we've won 7 duels tonight. We conceded 1 game simply because our opponent opened crazy, and I lost 1 just to test off stream the consistency of this deck. So I'm just going to continue to go through this, but again, that first turn play, that first turn end board, right? You want to have the Utopic Draco Future. You can summon it in attack or defense. I just prefer to summon it in attack because it's got 3,000 attack, 2,000 defense. It's better for you in attack. You don't have to worry about the Lightning Storm unless they have a card like Forbidden Chalice or Forbidden Droplet. Now, if you want to play a more budget-friendly version of this deck, and I can share the deck list with you guys again at the end of the stream, and what may be a flex spot, you can take the Forbidden Droplet and make that a Forbidden Chalice because it's a rare that's easily craftable. It's another quick play monster negate, and we're playing a suicide deck. So this is another free 500. Bravo. Bravo. So again, another reason why I don't like this event is because Konami said you can play I would think Zoo is probably more consistent. What's nice about the Zoo, Justin, is that the Zoo deck can loop the Trident and the Zeus with a little bit more ease. So yeah, so the Zoo is all the Zoo monsters are one card exceed monsters, right? So the moment you have a Zoo monster in hand, you can combo, right? It's not a crazy combo, but there's a lot you can do. But the Zoo cards themselves have inherent ways to shuffle cards from your graveyard back into your extra and your main deck using cards like Zodiac Combo. So you're always going to kind of have the Trident unless it gets DD Crowed, which is another reason why I'm playing DD Crow, is because it's a good form of disruption. But the Zoo deck, I would say, is probably more consistent. It's probably also cheaper to build, I'd imagine, because all you really need for that extra deck is the Zeus and the one Trident, as in this deck, you need at least 2 Recital Starling, you need at least 1 Ensemblue, and you need the Draco Future. So here we go. We're actually playing the Zoo deck. Their ideal first turn play here is going to be a couple things. So they're going to summon out I think they're probably going to go Hammer Kong or Borbo. Probably summon then the Chakanine detaching the Hammer Kong. And they may summon back the Hammer Kong. Yeah, so they're going to go Borbo here just to get more material. They can't Zeus first turn. That's the key thing. You can't attack first turn, so they can't summon the Zeus. So what they're going to do is they're just going to make a big Trident, likely with the protection. Yeah, you can... Yeah, he chose to go first. Yep. So it's a very similar, at least, end board, right? So what he's going to do is he's attaching the Cataroost. Cataroost will negate a monster effect that targets this card particular. So the Tiger Mortar, right? So now the Trident can't be targeted, because if we target it with a monster effect, we can detach, and it's 2,500. Our hand, and when he doesn't realize that, plays through this. So unless this is a card like Solemn Strike or Judgment, we've got him right where we want him. So we're gonna go Warbler here. Warbler on summon will trigger to special summon a bird from our hand. He's got something activatable. We know it's the Trident or a set card. So we're going to summon out the Cobalt Sparrow. Cobalt Sparrow on summon will add us a level 1 Wing Beast monster. So in this moment here, I can add anything because we're going to be able to freely go into our combo with no problem. So I'm going to go for the Sapphire Swallow because we can extend pretty nicely. He's got nothing. Now what I want to do here, actually, is rather than go for the Recital Starling in this moment, I want to go for the Assembled Nightingale. You actually... You might need the Ram and the Thoroughblade. Yeah, and I think you'll need the Chakanine as well to facilitate all that. But yeah, you need the Ram and the Thoroughblade. You'd use the Trident to pop the Ram to summon another one from the graveyard, and then you can do it. I believe that would be the play. So, this is tough. We could go for the Assembled Nightingale here. That'll protect us from the Trident, which I think is the right play to do. I want to see him waste the Trident, personally. I would say Zoo is probably better turn 2, for sure. In a weird format like this, though, depending on if you're playing trap cards, you can probably get away with going first. Because Trident as a whole is still just incredibly strong. Our opponent's saying this is fine, which makes me believe that they don't have a ton of stuff. But, again, we know the Trident is the only activatable card. We're not going to target this at any point. So, we're good to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the Recital Starling here. And he's not going to be able to Trident pop us because we have the Assembled Nightingale to protect. And we're going to search the Beryl Canary. And we're still going to go into Utopic Draco Future. We could also go into Zeus if we wanted to. I don't think we have to. Trident also can't target the Cobalt Sparrow because of it. The Assembled Nightingale because of Cobalt Sparrow. But the Assembled Nightingale is going to protect the Recital Starling. So I'm going to use the effect here to boost the attack of the Assembled Nightingale. Just to give him a little bit of maybe something's going on here. Maybe he's not going to read our cards, but this is pretty good how he opens. Our opponent's just going to say this is fine. The Recital Starling, again, is fine to resolve because we've yet to see them do anything that says, I have an answer to this. If they have a card like Nibiru, we're in a little bit of trouble, but we're still going to search the Beryl Canary here either way because we have the Bird Call. And because of that, I'm actually going to search the DD Crow here. Because if we can clear the Trident, we can banish the Trident. It'll never come back. We don't have to worry about anything. Then we only have to worry about the one Zeus they play. So we're going to go Bird Call here. And we also have the Ice Dragon's Prison to also deal with their entire deck. It's another reason why I'm playing it. There's a lot of mono-type Exceed decks that you're going to see in the event ladder. So Zoo is a mono-type Exceed deck. They're all Beast Warriors. Phantom Knight, similarly, is all Warriors. BA, all Fiends, with the exception of the extra deck, which are Warrior and Spellcaster, and Fairy. And then this is obviously all Winged Beasts. If you're playing the Cypher deck, that has different types, but the majority of the extra deck is Dragons. The Utopia deck is majority Warrior. So we're going to Beryl Canary here. We're going to target the Sapphire Swallow. We don't have anything else to equip here, but this is just going to become another Recital Starling to search us the Beryl Canary as follow-up for next turn. Even if he nibs us here, we're fine. So he's going to Trident here. This isn't really going to make a difference. The Assembled Nightingale is going to trigger. Still going to get that sweet 2-material Zeus. Chain. Detaching the Warbler. What did he detach off the Trident? The Tiger Mortar? Okay. I'm inclined to believe that this set card, because nothing was activatable, yeah, I mean, he's got something right now, because priority is passed back to him. So that might mean he's got something like an effect failure. But I think this set card may be something like a Zodiac combo, which would Pot of Avarice all of his Zodiac monsters. At least a large portion of them. I don't even have to go into... Yeah, you know what? We're going to go for the Recital Starling. Just to play it safe. We could go for the Promenade Thrush to put that back into his hand, but I think we just go for the trade. He's got something activatable again. So he's already used the Trident. So at this point, it's something in his hand. Impulse, okay. That's fine. Put it back in our extra deck. We're still going to make the UDF here. Now, if I wanted to get really cheeky, I could use the Utopic Future to take his Trident. Which I'm actually going to do. He's got the Whiptail. So actually, we can't do that now. Actually, I guess we could. Don't want a Draco Future here. I think the ideal play here is to Utopic Future, swing, take the Trident, make Zeus. Because then we have a 4-material Zeus. It would banish the Utopic Future. Oh, what? Oh, it's not face up on the field. I thought it was at the start of damage step. This is at the start of damage step, isn't it? I just misplayed. After damage calculation. Yeah, that's occurring before. That's fine. That's fine. We still have follow-up for next turn. Regardless, the zoo here, you know, the Trident's going to go bye-bye. And we're never going to have to deal with it again. So we're fine. And the DD Crow will respond to the Chakanine. The issue here is that we're going to have to deal with the Zeus, most likely. Depending on what they have. But I think we're okay. For the most part. That was a misplay. I should have read that further. We should have actually gone for the Utopic Draco feature because that would have been able to respond in the damage step because it's a negate the activation. But I don't think we would have been able to take... Gains this effect. I'm not entirely sure. If they go Trident pop the Ram here, that's when we chain the Ice Dragon's Prison. Reason being the Ram has to target to special summon. So we can take the target. One of these. I think he's just going to threaten with the Zeus. So here comes the Hammer Kong. I'm just going to deal with the Trident now. The unfortunate part is he's still going to be able to do his full play. Fuck, I clicked. Oh, shit. Fucking right-clicked. Alright, we're skipping. I'm doing this too fast. What we should have done there was we should have gone Utopia Draco Future, negated the Trident. Draco Future can't be destroyed by battle. It would have stayed. It would have just been like an endless loop of that, plus we would have had the Ice Dragon's Prison. I don't know if the Draco Future would have taken it because it's an effect being gained by the Trident. It's not necessarily the Trident activating that effect. So the Draco Future may not have been able to take it. But we also could have then just gone Zeus on top of the Draco Future to wipe the board and then set the Ice Dragon's Prison. There were probably two ways to do that. And that was likely one of them. But I think at that point, after the right click, there was no coming back from it. The DD Crow wasn't going to do as much as I thought it was going to do right there, but we're okay. If this bird call goes through, though, we should have full combo. Priority passes to our opponent. It's going to be Ash. That's fine. I'm going to set the Twin Twister, hold the Ash, hold everything else here. Pray we draw into another bird next turn. If we draw into a card like Warbler, we're cool. If we draw into a card like Beryl, Canary, we're fine. Any level 1 wing beast gets us to where we need to be. I'm not gonna pop these. Reason being, he may still have the cards he needs to play Effect Failure. Yikes. I think we just pass. Just play the pass game. It doesn't seem like he has anything. We've got interruptions for him if he does have something. Don't need to force the Twin Twister yet. Best time to Twin Twister is when you see see a card like a Continuous Trap, because then the Continuous Trap can't activate. So there's another Twin Twister. Just gonna hold this one again. Now we have a discard fodder without surrendering something. We can discard the Twin Twister off the Twin Twister. That's probably fine for the most part. Setting another card? Sure. Bird call. Okay. Let's see if he has the Ash Blossom once again. Nope. Priority stayed with us. We've got the Wagtail, we've got the Sapphire Swallow in hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the Cobalt Sparrow to hand. And then we're going to summon the Wagtail. Wagtail will special summon, and on summon will grab us another bird call, assuming it goes uninterrupted. Priority stayed with us. Adding bird call. And before I do anything else, I want to explain two things. He could not activate Solemn Strike if he had it. Reason being, Solemn Strike can only respond to inherent special summons or the special summon or the activation of an effect. Okay? So because Bird Call is a spell card, Solemn Strike cannot respond to it. So it tells us that he may have Solemn Strike. It also may tell us that he has Infinite Impermanence set here. But the priority kept with us after we summon the Wagtail. So I don't think it's Solemn Strike. I also don't think it's Solemn Judgment or Solemn Warning. So I can take the Solemns out of the equation. And I'm going to Twin Twister right here. I'm going to discard the Effect Veiler. Because I don't want to walk into something that could just end our entire turn. So priority is now passed to him. So that means something he does have something activatable finally. He's going to let this rock. What are we popping? Okay, we're playing against the Photon Galaxy Cypher deck. Sure. He's scooping. Okay. Most people will scoop if they see this deck. I'm going to be honest with you. There's a couple decks that I would scoop against just to keep the time rolling. You know, if I see a deck like Phantom Knights, that person's likely playing Fogblade. They're likely playing the Rongo, you know, or the Kaliga plays. I'd probably just scoop against it. I would also likely scoop against Virtual World. We played against it earlier. They can still VFD. They can still put up a crazy board with the Exceed monsters because, again, they can modulate the levels between 3, 6, and 9, even 12 if they wanted to. So there's a lot they could do there. I would genuinely scoop against these three decks. I think you can play against and play through the Zoo deck depending on what your deck looks like. But if you go second against particularly this deck, you know, you look at that end board that we have, right? With 2 cards, we get to so much. It's not really worth your time to sit here and play through, especially in an event that's rather short and that the rewards are front loaded. So it doesn't make sense for you to grind to the 20,000 metal because by that time you're only getting like 20 gems per win. Whereas early on, you want to make sure that your time is spent grinding because as you've already seen, we probably have about 3,000 gems just from getting to 4,500 metal. So it makes sense for you to use your time wisely early. So if you know you're going to lose, just concede. You don't have to lose, you know, you don't lose anything here. It's not like in the ranked ladder where if you concede, you go down a rank, right? Or your win streak resets. You can take value out of just conceding without it. Or if you want to be like the other people on the ladder, you can play a suicide deck, and even if you lose, you're still getting, you know, your medal, right, for doing this. So the play here is he's going to Trident pop the Ram to summon back the Thoroughblade. And by doing that, he can make a Hammer Kong with a material. So that means we can't target Zoo monsters, if I recall correctly, if he summons the Hammer Kong. Let me look that up real quick just so I'm making sure I'm saying that correctly. I want to say so long as Hammer Kong is material, you can't target Zoo monsters. Opponent cannot target face-up Zoo monsters on your field with card effects. Yeah. So we would not be able to use a card like Infinite Impermanence on the Trident or a card like... What is he doing? Oh, he's Utopic Draco featuring. I think... Chalk9 here, detach, summon back the Trident. So what he's going to do here is he's going to summon back the Trident, which likely means he has a Whiptail in hand to equip to the Trident as a material. And then in doing so, he has 2 monsters with the same rank on the field to go into the Utopic future, to then go into the Utopic Draco future. So here comes the Utopic future. He's got to have the Whiptail in hand. I can't imagine he makes this play without the Whiptail in hand. There it is. We've got the backer removal. Oh my god. This is the best possible hand. So, I want to walk you through 2 things right here. For starters, we win. But what's critical to notice here is 2 things. I'm going to start by activating Bird Call. Exactly. What he has is a strong opening. He's got a pop. He's got a monster negate. I have full combo, plus I have the exact cards I need to play through this. So we've got... Fucking Maxx C. That's fine. Because what's going to happen here is we're going to go Twin Twister, popping the set cards here, and then we're going to Droplet him, turning off both of these. So, boom. We break his board. We give him a lot of draws. I think we take the Maxx C challenge. I at this point, we've committed so much. I think we have to take the Maxx C challenge. Now you can send cards on field. You're like, because they're activating and it's resolving mid-chain, you can send cards on the field with the Droplet here. The crappy part is he can respond with monster effects, so he could pop something with the Trident here, but there's no point. So turn off the Trident, turn off the Utopic Draco future. We can beat over this now. We can clear this easy, no real threat, and we're still searching off the Bird Call here. So there's a lot we can do. We've got the Beryl Canary in hand. I'm going to grab the Sapphire Swallow. Cobalt Sparrow is going to be summoned here off the Bird Call. And we're going to add another level 1 bird monster. Now, if he has the Nibiru, we're still okay because the Beryl Canary. The downfall here, again, though, is that we're under the Maxx C challenge. But I don't feel too bad about doing this because it's the only way we can really play this game, because we don't want to let him get all this stuff back. We're getting rid of the Trident. I want to make that abundantly clear. The Trident is going bye-bye, so it's worth us doing this. And I'm going to add the Celestial Wagtail here because we're going to summon it off the Sapphire Swallow, getting another Bird Call for next turn. So Sapphire Swallow is going to trigger in hand here, summoning itself in the Wagtail. He's got something activatable. It's the Trident or the Utopic Draco future that he can't. That if he activates, will just do nothing. He's just going to detach for cost. So for the most part, I'm not going to pay a ton of mind to when the priority passes between players, because again, it's telling him that he can activate these effects, but if he does so, it just doesn't do anything because they're under the effects of Forbidden Droplet. So that's a critical thing to understand here. Is it's impossible to read the player clock at the moment because of what's going on with the interaction of the Forbidden Droplet. I've taught you guys how to read that in the past, and I'll continue to teach that throughout the night. But just understand there's nothing that can happen right now because it's going to pass to him, and it's telling him he's got these 2 activatable on field. And we're going to search the Warbler here, normal summon the Warbler, go into the other Recital Starling. Now, what's going to be a little bit problematic about this is if he's also playing cards like Forbidden Droplet or Dark Ruler No More, he will be able to turn off the Ensemblue, which realistically would win us the duel next turn. So we're in a bit of a pickle because we have to give him a lot of cards. It's the only way we can break what he has. He has a strong opener. So why did you not start with Warbler? We didn't have Warbler. What we had was Bird Call, Sapphire Swallow, and Cobalt Sparrow. We didn't need to start with the Warbler. We could have if we wanted to, but it does the exact same thing by doing it this way, because we're still going to end on that Ultimate Draco future plus the Ensemblue. So, and what we're going to do right here is we're going to search the DD Crow to deal with the potential of the Trident to come back, because we know he's still playing Chaka 9 and the Ram. So DD Crow here. We're going to have the Beryl Canary and the Bird Call in hand. So we're going to Draco Future here. Actually, we can steal this. We could steal this. So because we're using the Sapphire Swallow here, the Ensemblue will be able to get another material on it. You know what? We could steal it, but I want to protect myself from the Nibiru, so I'm just going to summon this. At this moment, I'm getting a little nervous because we've given him 6 cards. And I'd rather just give him 2 more and just call it a day. We know we can't get Nibiru right now, and we can't get Infinite Impermanence on top of that, because he has cards on field that are active, you know, that he can't do anything with. So I'm just going to play this safe. We'll just give him the 8 cards that he was entitled to through the Maxx C. We got the DD Crow. We've got the bounce if he continues to just pile on zoo monsters. So we're going to equip the Cobalt Sparrow. To the Ensemblue. And then we're going to attach the Wagtail as another material. Now the downfall is it wasn't summoned using the Cobalt Sparrow, so it can still be targeted. But we do have 4 bounces, so start by clearing the Trident. Yep. That effect is negated because it's under the... Actually, you know what? Gains the effect, right? This might be the wrong move. It's a lingering effect? Okay, yeah, we're going to deal with it then. So we'll actually take the Trident here. This is ours now. That's not doing anything. It's... Don't do what this guy's doing. If he was smart on attack declaration, knowing that we could have taken it... actually, I guess... No, we couldn't have taken it because the Draco Future... Because it's still being destroyed by the Ensemble. We're just negating. What he should have done in the event that we could have taken it would have been just to detach this cost anyway. This way, in the event that we do take the Trident, there's no material left on it. But I think we're fine. I really do. There's nothing that plays through this outside of Forbidden Droplet or Dark Ruler no more. But even then, I think the DD Crow is enough to stop him from really just being able to win outright. So if he's got the Forbidden Droplet, or he has double Forbidden Chalice, there's probably no real way for him to win this. Because even if he goes Zeus, what's going to happen is the Utopic Draco feature would negate the first effect. You know, the first Zeus wipe. It would also take simultaneously while also taking it. And then because Zeus would then go to our field, he would have wiped the board realistically 3 times. Or twice. Oh, he's got the imperm. Okay. That's one way to play around this. He's making the right play. He's turning off the Ensemblue. Yeah, see, unfortunately, we have to take the Maxx C challenge there because, again, we lose the next turn if we don't do anything with this. So he's going for the Bunny Blast. Bunny Blast, it doesn't matter because he's going to go Borbo, swing, try to do some stuff. If he overextends by activating the effect of a Zoo monster, then he's actually screwed himself. So, but he's going to play this right. He's just going to go for the Borbo. Ensemblue can trigger to detach. Which makes no sense to do, so we're not going to. And then if he clears the Ensemblue, we get a bird monster back from the graveyard. So not only will we have the TD Crow plus the bird call, you know, we'll be able to do some stuff. But, you know, as you see here, he's just going to go straight for the Zeus play, and he's going to try to make this as big a Zeus as possible. He's going to swing over the Ensemblue, and that's fine because in damage step, we're going to add the card back, and there's nothing that he can use at this moment outside of a Ghost Bell to stop this. So we're going to have the Beryl Canary right now just to be safe. It goes through. And now, realistically, we can play through the Zeus. That's what the Beryl Canary means, is that we can realistically play through the Zeus because the bird call can get us where we need to go because it can add the Warbler to hand and so forth and so forth. So the counterplay right now is if we survive the Zeus... Even if that's the case, it didn't unfortunately make any difference because he still had the infinite impermanence for the following turn. But yeah, I was a little skeptical about it myself, about how that would be ruled by the game mechanics. So I took the chance anyway. Didn't matter. He doesn't have the Nibiru, and he's actually, I don't know if he's overextending here or not. He just summoned the Borbo and the Hammer Kong. He's got the Tiger Mortar left to go into, which would only give him a 5 material Zeus. And he's actually just going to go for the 4 material Zeus, which means that at best he's just going to clear the Utopic Draco feature. So, trying to think of what we do right this second. So... he's thinking about if he wants to activate the Zeus. If he sets cards, we need to try to bait the Zeus because it will send everything, and he's just going to Zeus right here. So we have to Utopic Draco future to protect ourselves. He's going to lose the Zeus. He's going to lose all the Zeus effects. That's the catch here, is he's going to lose all the Zeus effects. Because if he wants to clear the Utopic Draco future, he has to do it again, and he only summoned it with 4 material. So, sure. Don't care so much about that. And we actually take the Zeus here, which is critical. So, this is ours. Now, this is the unfortunate part. He's going to set 4 to 5 cards right now. And we know he still has Zoo cards as follow-up, but he's burned through a lot of his extra deck. His 2 boss monsters are gone. He used the Utopic Draco feature, he used the Trident, and he's now used the Zeus. So he's in a really tough spot right now, and we're going to have Bird Call to facilitate all of our plays right here off the start. So here comes the Bird Call. And what I'm going to try to do is I am going to try to Promenade Thrush as many of these cards away as I possibly can. And we're playing under the Maxx C again. 12 cards. Can we give him the business? Can we make him deck out? I don't know if we can make him deck out. No, I don't want to special summon anything. So I'm going to Beryl Canary right here. Go for the Cobalt Sparrow. He's got something activatable. If it's a Solemn Strike, and he's going to negate an effect on field, we can attach a material from the graveyard for Zeus. Or if he's got a card like... yeah, so Solemn Warning. He's going to negate the Beryl Canary in hand. Sure. It will negate and destroy. That's fine. I think the right play right now is just to go DD Crow. DD Crow will deal with the Trident potentially coming back off a Chakanine. Because we have the effect failure for the Chakanine anyway. He's got the Called by the Grave. Okay. That's just another card we play through. You didn't have to use that there. Your better play... reality is Called by is at 2. He could have banished any of our bird cards. So he actually could have saved the Solemn Warning if he wanted to. Gone on the Beryl Canary effect. He could have banished the target, which was the Cobalt Sparrow, which would have been the better play. So he probably should have just done that. And I'm just going to put pressure by attacking. There's really nothing else we need to do here. We don't need to overextend by normal summoning. So we're just going to swing. I'm also not going to summon our own Zeus on top of this Zeus, because then we only have one material Zeus. It's not worth anything. We have a 3,000 attack monster. There's nothing in his extra deck now that can clear the Zeus, as far as I'm aware. He's got 6 cards left in there. A Chakanine summon is going to be met with a effect failure. There's really no way around the Zeus other than if he has access to the Whiptail, which he does. But again, I'm not really threatened by anything. He's banishing his own Zeus at that cost, while also still probably taking some damage. So we're really in just fine shape. Now, what would be unfortunate is if he's got the Ram, he goes Chakanine, detach, somehow dodges the effect failure, and then on the Chakanine summon triggers a card like a Torrential Tribute. So right here, Chakanine's going to have to detach, likely summoning something. He's going to try to go for the Trident so he can Tiger Mortar equipped to the Trident. And because he used the Called by, he may not have the other one available to him at the moment. So this is going to be met with an effect failure. Chain. Priority pass back to him. He's got something activatable. I hope it's not the other Called by. Zodiac combo. So what Zodiac combo is gonna... So what he's gonna try to do right here is he's gonna try to equip the Cataroost from the deck if he has one, but it's not gonna be able to trigger mid-chain. So the Chakanai is still gonna get negated. So whatever he summons here is just gonna be negated anyway. I'm sorry, whatever he equips here is gonna be, negated anyway. The downfall though now is he's got the Zodiac combo where he can Pot of Avarice during our turn to put back the Trident. And we don't have the DD Crow at our disposal any longer. So we have to kill him next turn or else he's just going to be able to full combo with the Zoo cards once again. So what did he equip? The Whiptail. Okay. So that's fine. It's got 9 cards left in the deck. Now, what gets us out of this jam? Well, Bird Call gets us out of this jam. Card like Warbler gets us out of this jam. Beryl Canary gets us out of this jam. So he took damage at the expense of clearing his own Zeus, so that he can combo us during our turn. He's gonna draw one card off that as well. Got the called by. This deals with the Trident. We still kind of win. And this sucks. I think we pass if he doesn't end phase. Yep, cool. All right, now we win. So what he's going to do is he's going to attempt to shuffle back the Trident. And this is going to be met with a call by because we can activate it now. Does this say it has to shuffle them all back? Yeah, it says all 5. I don't think this is going to resolve now because it can't shuffle all 5 back into the deck. If typically a card would say them, if it would just still go through. So I think this fizzles because it can't resolve fully. It's got something. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's got something else that's activatable? Yeah, it fizzles because it can't resolve fully. So we outplayed him on that. He's got no Trident now. He's got no Zeus. He's got no Ultimate Conductor. No Ultimate Utopic Draco Future. Sorry, not Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Sorry. So realistically, his best play is just to summon something. And let's see, he's got 3 Chakanite in graveyard. Realistically, this is going to be a Hammer Kong and do a Tiger Mortar to try to equip like another Whiptail. And if we can go uninterrupted on like a Beryl Canary, we can just go into card like Ensemblue Nightingale. Just win that way. What's nice too is we know he's playing Solemn cards. So the only Solemn card he could activate right now is going to be Solemn Judgment. And Judgment can't respond to the Beryl Canary summon. So we're okay there. He can't activate Strike or Warning because he's below the life point threshold to be able to pay the cost to activate. Top deck into Maxx C. That sucks. Now, we're actually in a pickle. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set the Sapphire Swallow because this can pierce, can it? Doesn't really make any difference. That's a deterrent. I need to pray we draw into something off the Maxx C. If he summons a Zoo monster, I think we just lose outright. Whiptail, Thoroughblade, Bunny Blast, Whiptail, Thoroughblade. Beryl Canary wins us the game. Or Warbler. Either or. We've got 2 Warbler in deck, 1 Beryl Canary. No, 2 Beryl Canary, 2 Warbler. There's a lot of hope right here. Wagtail. Yikes. We can no longer take any attacks. So, unfortunately, we have lost. And I'm just going to let this run out. We're just going to get the points for losing. No BM, no BM. Yep. All right. Taking the Maxx C challenge almost paid off. All right, we're going to play about three more games of this, and I'm going to call it a night. I will be streaming tomorrow night, so if you guys want to tune in, we might just be playing something different. We might just be playing this again. All depends on if I want to spend these gems that we've earned from playing in the event thus far. If you guys would like to see me go back on the ladder with an optimized Sky Striker list, also feel free to let me know about that. I know some people asked about that the other night, and I do intend on playing that either later this weekend or first thing starting next week. So off the bat, we have full combo. We can do this one of 2 ways. We could go Turqoise Warbler, summoning the Wagtail, Or what we could do is we could Foolish Burial, put the Cobalt Sparrow, then go Turqoise Warbler, summoning the Cobalt Sparrow. And I'm going to actually do this to negate the Ash. I mean, to bait the Ash. He doesn't have it. Priority stay with us. So this is full combo. So Turqoise Warbler is going to go here. It's going to use the effect on summon, grabbing the Cobalt Sparrow from the graveyard. Cobalt Sparrow is going to trigger adding us a level 1 winged beast monster. We're going to add the Sapphire Swallow here. And we're going to go for the Recital Starling to search the Beryl Canary. So we're going to be able to do that first turn play that we've been trying to prioritize. And again, the only way that really loses, again, is to cards like Infinite Impermanence or Forbidden Droplet. Not many people are going to be playing Dark Ruler no more. I really don't anticipate seeing that. Because it doesn't lose to Nibiru unless they have the Infinite Impermanence anyway. But he can't Infinite Impermanence right this second on the Recital Starling. And we already know he doesn't have anything, so I think we're safe. Because priority has stayed with us, so I think we're good to go. Plus, we're going to be grabbing the Bird Call here. So we're going to have follow-up for next turn as well. Wagtail is going to trigger searching the Bird Call. Now, off of this Recital Starling, once again, we're going to search the DD Crow so that we have minimum 2 interruptions. Because we're going to have the Effect Veiler plus the DD Crow plus the Utopic Draco Future, and then whatever the Ensemblue gets as its material, which, because we are doing this right, should be 4. Now, again, we're going to run into the circumstance, most likely, where if we run into the zoo, we have to prioritize bouncing immediately with the Ensemblue. Our opponent looks like they're disconnecting, which means they may just be scooping, and the game is taking a second to lag because the netcode isn't great. But if they stick this out, you know, we will have done the full combo. Like I said, most people, because they understand the value of their time playing this game, should scoop on something like this, especially because the card pool is rather limited. You know, a lot of people realize they can't play the decks they want to play in this event, so they're not playing in this event. So the people who are in this event are either doing it just because they want the gems, or because they actually just want to grind for the Adriuses. You know, and I say that jokingly. Nobody's playing Adrius unless you're playing Eldritch. That's really the only reason to even consider playing something like that, because you can make level 5s rather easy. You could also do it in something like Cyber Dragon, but Cyber Dragon has their own level 5s that they don't need to summon Adrius. So there's the 4 material Ensemblue, and we're not going to set the droplets so we can activate it next turn with the Bird Call in the event that we need to do so. So this is our end board. Ensemblue with 4 bounces, the Draco Future with a negate, DD Crow, Effect Veiler. Opponent's looking at this and they're disconnecting, so. Now, for those who are maybe joining and weren't here in the beginning or are unfamiliar with the page, I record all of these streams and I post them to YouTube the following morning. And with that will come both the full explanation for the deck and the follow-up at the end of the stream. And I will also be posting the full deck list in type format in the description of the video. This way, if you guys want to go out and build it for this specific event, or if you want to go back and look at my other videos that are on my YouTube from Master Duel, you can see the deck list that we were playing in full. You don't have to guess based on the card art, which I know a lot of people don't like doing, so that's why I went ahead and started typing out the deck lists. And then you can just go and search the cards if you feel that you like those. And the reason why I do these streams is so that you guys can watch somebody play the deck, determine if it's a deck that you'd like to play. This way you don't have to go out of your way to commit the gems or the dust to doing so. Because the last thing you want somebody who's enthusiastic about Yu-Gi-Oh! To do is to waste their time and the resources building something that they don't like, because then you start getting discouraged. Now we're playing the Phantom Knight deck, and this is actually a good matchup. Now, Torn Scales discards a card, sends a Phantom Knight card from the deck to the graveyard. If he uses this effect, I want to use the Draco Future. And the reason being is the Torn Scales is a pain if it starts getting in the graveyard. If he banishes another Phantom Knight card while it's in the graveyard, it'll special summon itself. So we want to just take this immediately. He's prioritizing something else. The tracker can only be summoned once per turn, so I'm just going to bounce this. I'm going to T-attach the Sapphire. So this is another reason why we're playing the Ensemblue. The Robin is just going to keep bouncing the cards. That's one down, right? So if he goes for the Phantom Knight Torn Scales here, this is another thing, right? Ensemblue is just going to bounce this. Sure. I don't care if he discards a card, because the card that's in the graveyard is going to be met with a negate. What I care about is the extenders here. In the Phantom Knight deck, almost all of the extenders have a hard once per turn on the summon. So right here, he's going to go Torn Scales, and he's going to discard the Phantom Knight Boots that he special summoned most likely. Or if he has the Ancient Cloak, he will discard the Ancient Cloak. And that's going to be met with the effect failure that we have. And then in that same chain link, we're going to hit him with the DD Crow. So we played this really smart in terms of a meta call. So it's actually even better than I thought. So he has the Ragged Gloves. So we're actually going to make him go -2 here. So we're going to go effect failure first of all to negate the Torn Scales. And what's going to happen now is this. He's going to Ragged Gloves to send a card from the deck to the graveyard. And in doing so, on resolution, so we need to turn our toggle on, we're going to banish whatever card he sends. So he's going to send the Torn Scales here. And with that, we're still going to have 2 bounces with the Robin, and we still have the negate with the Draco Future, plus our Droplet and our Bird Call for next turn. So we played this perfectly, because we know he has 2 cards in hand that are now effectively dead, because he can't special summon them. The Tracker and the Boots. He's going to send the Ancient Cloak here, or the Stained Greaves. So toggle on resolution of the card being sent to graveyard, we're going to DD Crow it. The only way he can play through that is if he has the Called by the Grave, which I don't think he does, because the Torn Scales got negated so quickly. Priority passed right back to us. It said Chain Resolve. And now he's thinking about what he wants to send here. The right play is to send the Cloak, not know, but what the issue is that he's doing this knowing that we searched the DD Crow. This is public knowledge. He saw us summon it. He saw us search it off the Recital Starling. If he was smart, he would check the log, see that we have the DD Crow in our hand. Trying to find where it says it. It says it right here. Added DD Crow. So he's sending the Stained Greaves. Just going to banish this. So he's likely sending the Stained Greaves so that he doesn't burn the Torn Scales. Now, this set card is going to be a Fogblade. And likely a Phantom Knight Wings is what I would imagine. So we have the Wagtail. We've got full combo. Anyway. This hand is just crazy. We have so much advantage. The Fogblade doesn't really do anything either, because we can summon the Promenade Thrush to bounce it. Just search the Beryl Canary here. We're in total cruise control. So we'll summon the Wagtail here. Get another Bird Call. And we're going to equip another Wagtail to the Ensemblue. Robin. So we're going to try to get this Wagtail in the graveyard. So right here, Beryl, Canary. Going to attach this. I'm going to attach the Sapphire. So we're going to make a 4 material Promenade Thrush. And that's going to put the Wagtail back in the graveyard. And the Wagtail is going to let us equip it to the Ensemblue Robin so that the Robin can go back to 3 material. Now, again, I want you guys to pay attention. The reason we can put a 4th material on the card we're summoning is because of the Sapphire Swallow. And we have to make sure right here that we detach the Wagtail. So Promenade Thrush is going to trigger. And activate the effect, detaching the Wagtail. Like I said, I think one of these is Fogblade. Put it back on top of the deck. Shuffle it. Wagtail will attach the Ensemblue. It's got something activatable, so this is going to be a handful of cards. Knowing the Phantom Knight deck, it can be 2 cards in particular. It can be the Fogblade, or it can be the Wings. Now, I'm going to attack with the Draco Future first, because I want to see if it's Fogblade. If it's Fogblade, then that's fine. Because he still loses next turn. That's the reality of where he's at. And we're in damage step, and he's not going to use the Fogblade. Fogblade would have stopped the Draco Future from attacking, so that makes me think he doesn't have it. Unless he's waiting for us to activate the effect of Draco Future. But it probably would have been better for him to just do it right then and there. Or he's waiting for us to go for Zeus, which, lo and behold, we're actually not going to do. There's no reason for us to summon Zeus. We could threaten with it, but we don't have to. So, actually, you know what? It's going to be 4 material Zeus. How many summons was that? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's our 4th summon. We know he doesn't have Nibiru. Yeah, we're gonna Zeus here. I don't know if it makes sense to have done this, just in terms of like a gameplay standpoint, because we're so far ahead. But if this is Fogblade, then we may actually need this. He's thinking. So he's thinking long and hard about, and he's passing. Okay, so we're just gonna end. We don't need to set the droplets. There's no point, because again, we have so much card advantage. We have 2 Zeus wipes, 3 bounces with the Ensemblue, and we still have all 3 material in the Draco Future. So in his graveyard, what do we know? He's got the Torn Scales. That's fine, and the reason being is 2 things. If he banishes a card, the Torn Scales will summon itself, and then we're just going to Ensemblue to bounce it, and it's going to get banished anyway. Because the moment it leaves the field, it gets banished. So, we're fine. I really I'm not afraid of anything here because we know he's got Psychic Tracker in hand and we know he's got Boots in hand, both of which can be bounced by the Ensemblue. So there's realistically no way he's playing through this. Again, unless he's got the Fog Blade, he's just passing. Don't have to do anything. No point in forcing the envelope, we just attack directly. He's going to switch the Zeus to attack position, and we're just going to swing. That's all we have to do. There's no other play here that makes any other sense, because anything else is just an overextension, because he just drew an unknown card, and we still don't even know what this card is. We just do the Maxx C for turn 2. We're in really good shape. I'm not afraid of anything that he could possibly have. Gonna attack with the Zeus first. Reason being, if he does have the Fog Blade, we just chain the Zeus. Fog Blade won't be able to resolve, and he can't activate it in the same chain because Zeus is attack still to go through. So this is just GG. Battle step. We're in the clear. Okay. Now, I know that looked easy, but this Phantom Knight deck with a better hand would have been one of the tougher ones that we faced tonight outside of the Zoo decks. Like I said, I think in this kind of weird off format, the decks that are really going to thrive are the Bird deck, the Zoo deck, the Phantom Knight deck, the Virtual World deck, and maybe a deck like Earth Machine, because Earth Machine has a lot of big level 10, level 5 Exceed monsters that they can go into. Those are the decks that I think are probably going to be the best decks to play. But again, don't think of this as a permanent format. You know, you can build a deck and you can keep it for a long time, thankfully, because this is going to be something that's probably going to be recycled in and out. But don't take what I'm playing as meta, you know, because like I don't expect you to go into the rank ladder playing this version. If you want to play the Lyrilusc deck, you have to play with the Tri-Brigade. That's the only right answer. So we've got Bird Call here. If this goes unchecked, we've got full combo. Priority stayed with us. That means we have full combo. So what we're going to do here is we are going to grab the Sapphire Swallow. Now, we could have added the Warbler here. There's no point to, because we're just going to summon the Cobalt Sparrow to add the Warbler anyway. And it gets us, you know, it's the exact same play. There's really no difference in terms of it. Because what we wouldn't get off of that, we're just going to get anyway. So the Warbler itself would be added, special summon itself in the Cobalt Sparrow. In this case, we're just using the Sapphire Swallow as special summon the Warbler that we searched off of the Cobalt Sparrow. So we're just doing it in vice versa. It's the exact same amount of cards, just a different chain of order to it. Now, the Turqoise Warbler is going to tell us it can special summon the Beryl Canary, but we don't want to do that because we want to have the Beryl Canary as a play. So what we're actually going to do is we're just going to go straight into the Recital Starling. We're going to search the Wagtail. Normal summon the Wagtail. Go into the other Recital Starling. Now, I would actually argue that this hand is better than some of the other ones that we've had in the past, because we have the Ash and we're going to have the DD Crow. Ash and DD Crow is probably better than Effect Veiler and DD Crow that we've been seeing quite often tonight. Now, if we wanted to get really cheeky, we could go for a 3-material Ensemblue and get the Bird Call for next turn. So I think we're going to try that play this time around. So what we're going to have to do this time is, instead of summoning the Sapphire Swallow from the graveyard, we have to summon the Celestine Wagtail. And the Wagtail is going to make it so we're only going to have 2 materials on the Ensemblue. But we're still going to be protected by the Utopic Draco feature. We're still going to have the Ensemblue, and then we're going to have the Ash plus the Bird Call for the Beryl Canary next turn. Or, you know what? Yeah, I really do want that. Yeah, we need the follow-up. I definitely think we need the follow-up. Because even if they clear the Ensemblue, we're just going to get a card back from the graveyard anyway. So we can grab, say, the Warbler instead. But then we at least have both. So here's our Draco Future. Celestine. Going to target the Wagtail, like we just said. On some of the Wagtail, we're going to add the Bird Call. And we pass. Sure. So we book a Moon, the Utopic Draco Future. What's interesting about that, and he's playing the Utopia deck. I want to ask this. What's interesting about him book of mooning the Utopic Draco Future is even if he goes to battle the Utopic Draco Future, it still can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. So realistically, all he's doing is stopping the negate here, unless he has a pop readily available. Wow. Crazy. Okay. Change tactics. Okay, this guy is just playing the structure deck. So there's the Dodo Glove. Sure. Zubaba Bancho Gaga Coat. So on the summon of the coat, we need to bounce it. Because he can't use the effect in hand again. And the only thing he can do is he can use this. It's the only way around it. But he doesn't threaten us with this. So he's going to have to exceed summon here, I would think. Or Or do we on this can summon the Gaga back. Yeah, I know. I'm thinking the same thing. He has to exceed summon right here. If he doesn't and he clears the Ensemblue, we still win. So he's just going to clear the Ensemblue. That's fine. Sure. So Ensemblue, upon hitting the graveyard, will add a bird monster in the graveyard back to hand. So we're going to grab the Beryl Canary here. Where's the Gaga sister? It's time to play. That's what's missing from this. Search the Gaga Bolt. Pop the set Draco Future. Giving him the Duel Links plays. Now what's interesting about this too is I think the key play for him to be able to to combo through this would require him to have to Exceed summon using both the Gaga coat and the Dododo Go 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 Dwarf. Go 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 Love, sorry. And he'd have to detach and then summon the glove back because he controls the face up Gaga. But he's not doing it that way. He's going for the Utopic Sage. I have no idea what the deck does from here. This searches. So he's going to attempt to add a rank up magic card, I think. And then he could go into his own Utopic Draco future. So here's the Utopia. But what he's actually going to do here is because he's summoning it with the Ascendant Sage, he's going to add the rank up magic. There's a lot he can do here. I don't... Kind of learning this as we go along, trying to figure out. Yeah, so here's Dragonar. This is the new Utopia monster. And this is why we have the DD Crow. We stopped him from getting the material that he needed to be able to play with the Utopia Ray. So he actually has to pass this turn now. And what does that enable us? He attacked with an Exceed monster? What? Whoa, 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 whoa. How is he summoning this? He definitely did not attack with an Exceed monster. Can someone explain that to me? Because I don't understand where this happened. He didn't summon it. He didn't attack with an Exceed monster. He attacked with the. He attacked with the Onomatopoeia. Did he not? Yeah. So how is he summoning this? Because he's not using 2 level 12 monsters. Once per turn of an Exceed monster battle this turn. One didn't. Oh, it was because he attacked ours? Oh, shit. Okay, alright. I understand now. Oh, that's fine. He's just going to lose his. That's fine. Yeah, he attacked the Exceed monster. You're right. I didn't understand that it worked that way. I thought it had to be an Exceed monster you control battles. I didn't realize that it could just be, I just attack any Exceed monster and I get the effect. I didn't realize that was the, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it just says battled. I didn't realize it had to specifically just be a battle. I thought I thought it was under the impression that it has to be an Exceed monster that you control that's battling. because rarely will it ever come up where you can just kind of throw it on top of a card like that. So, you know, I guess that makes more sense. I just never read it that way. But we've got the Warbler here. We've got full combo. We're going to make our own Zeus, because that's the only way we out his Zeus. So 5 material, assemble Nightingale. Oh, we should... Yeah. So Sapphire Swallow effect. Equip the Robin. Reason being, if Robin hits the graveyard. A card in our possession. That's alright. It's going to be a 10 material Zeus. But I think we can also just attack directly 8 times. It's one of those little cheese ways to win that we talked about earlier. Yeah, I'm just attacking 8 times. If we wanted to make our own Zeus, we could. But we're just going to cheese it with fucking 8 direct attacks. And, yeah. So, when we talked about at the start of the stream, there's a couple ways to cheese it. One in particular is the Assembled Nightingale and the follow-up where you can summon out as many materials as possible. Another is to assemble Nightingale plus Recital Starling, where you're making it so you're not taking any battle damage, but the Recital Starling swinging into something big will force your opponent to take all the battle damage. And then again, your typical first turn play that we've been showing. Those are your 3 real ways to win. So I'm actually going to back out real quick, just claim all of the rewards from the events, the missions, and then we'll get right back into this. We're going to play 2 more duels tonight, and then I'm going to call it a night. And then for those who have joined since the stream started, who aren't unfamiliar with how I stream, I post all of the replays the following morning to YouTube. So if you guys miss something or if you want to go back and check something out, you can do that. Or if you want to share them with your friends. I appreciate you guys watching tonight. I appreciate you guys supporting me on YouTube. I do this for you guys. I'm not, if you notice, I'm not monetizing my videos. I just do this because I enjoy this. And I want to see you guys enjoy this as well. I want to see you guys, find a deck that you like to play. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop a comment on the YouTube video, and I'll try to respond as quickly as possible. On a regular weekday, I am a little bit unable to because I work from 8 to 6 most nights. So, most days. So, understand that I may not always be available to respond as quickly. But I will try to get to you as quickly as I can. So we do have full combo here. I want to make that very clear. So we're going to add the Cobalt Sparrow to hand. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to summon the Turqoise Warbler here. Off the bird call. Attempt to use the effect. If this gets effect failured or infinite impermanence, I'm just going to normal summon the effect failure. And it didn't. And because we're summoning it with the Cobalt Sparrow, whatever we get here will not, whatever, when we summon the Recital Starling, he can't infinite impermanence it. He can only ash it. So, because you can't target it. But we know he's got something activatable, which may mean that he's got the infinite permanents available for our Utopic Draco future, which is kind of a problem. Not a big fan of that, but, you know, you got to deal with it sometimes. So, detaching the Turqoise Warbler. And the crappy part about this is we have to add the Wagtail here or the Beryl Canary. I'd rather not add the Beryl Canary just yet. So we're gonna have to. Actually, no, I did that wrong. We could have gone. Could have just normal summoned the effect failure. I forgot that we had not used our normal summon yet. So priority passed back to us, but they had something activatable. It's a couple things it could be. It could, at this point, it could be Nibiru, but it's likely not. But it's clearly something activatable. So it could have been Maxx C. It could have been an infinite permanence. It could have been a card like Lancia. But there's really no reason for him to be playing Lancia in this kind of meta, because it's so all over the place. I mean, if you really wanted to get a step up on the Phantom Knight deck and the Virtual World deck, you could play the Lancia. But I don't really see a reason to be doing so. Unless he's playing a Drytron deck. But I don't know what the rules are regarding the Drytrons. And I know Herald of Perfection is banned from play. So I imagine something like Herald of Ultimateness is also banned from play. So you may be able to Drytron using only the Draconids. And the Ben 10 stuff. So like you might be able to get some, you know, like a card like Lancia to hand. But I don't think that's what it is. He may just have his toggle all the way on. So it just passes back to him, tells him he doesn't have any legal activation, but it doesn't automatically just pass back to us. So, because nothing activated there. So we're going to go for the 4 material Ensemblue. Plus we have the Ice Dragon's Prison. So we have a lot of interruption right here. So we're going to have the 4 material on the Ensemblue. We're also going to have the Draco Future. And we're going to have both the Ice Dragon's Prison and the 2 effect failure. So that right there is 8 potential degrees of interruption. It's not the greatest, but it is something. You know, unfortunately, we don't have a Spell Trap negate. We only have 3 monster negates. But again, a card like Lightning Storm doesn't win this for him outright. Cards like Lightning Storm plus Forbidden Droplet win this for him outright. He's got a Kaiju. Don't want to bounce it. Reason being, he would just be able to summon the Kaiju right back over top of the Ensemblue. So, no reason to do that. He may be playing a Mech Knight deck. Yeah. And there's the Lightning Storm. Sure. So the Kaijus can only be special summoned once per turn, I believe. Your opponent control, special summon it. Actually, I guess you could just summon this as many times as you want. Your opponent controls a Kaiju monster, special summon this card. There's a Godarla. Attack position. You can only control 1 Kaiju monster. Yeah, there's no reason to respond at the moment. We let the Ensemblue die. Because then we'll get the Beryl Canary back. Next turn, we can do similar play with that Nightingale, where we just attack directly a ton. So he's going to go to battle phase. He's going to clear the Ensemblue here. This leads me to believe he may have a Ghost Spell, because he's doing it this particular way. But we have the Bird Call anyway. And we're good to resolve this. Now, why do I keep mentioning Ghost Spell? Because Ensemblue resolves in the damage step, you can only activate a card that says negate the activation. It's the only kind of card, aside from a attack or defense modification that can activate in the damage step. So if he had something, it would have had to have been that. Because he can't activate Gamma because he has a card on his field. And here we're going to Bird Call. I'm going to add the other Beryl Canary just for follow-up for next turn. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate Beryl Canary here. Targeting the Swallow. Actually, we should have targeted the Warbler. Warbler would have been able to special summon another monster. We could have gotten 5 materials out of this. Instead, we're only going to get 4, but it's alright. We actually still win. I'm going to Droplet here to drop the attack in half of the Godarla. So our Godarla can swing over it. Doesn't really mean much. But just lets us do more damage. I'm going to put him at 2200. Sorry, 2650. Main 2. I would recommend doing so if you were looking to play the Bird plus the Tri-Brigade deck. I don't recommend playing this deck pure like I'm doing right now. But I think you need to Recital Starling if you plan on playing the Bird plus the Tri-Brigade version for sure. So I would recommend pulling for it. And then whatever you don't get, obviously, you can just dismantle. And then if you just get tired of pulling for it, you can always just craft it. If you're only missing 1, you may just be better off crafting it and saving your gems for a deck that you prefer. But yikes. That sucks. That actually sucks. Yeah, I would grab the second Recital Starling then. Little ouch. I really would. Wow, this is terrible. Actually, I'm going to be honest. I shouldn't have done that. And the reason being is if he had the Gamma, he would have been able to summon the Gamma. He's got the Numeron Wall. Are you kidding me? I talked about this deck at the beginning of the stream. I think this is another one of those decks that you can expect to see in this kind of format because this deck is just a free OTK. It's going to play nothing but board wipes and cards to clear monsters like like the Kaiju packages here. And like you look at this, right? Like what has he resolved? He's resolved 2 board wipes and a Kaiju. And this is gonna swing for 1,000. It's gonna boost the attack of all of them. What? Why did he throw? He had game. Why did he throw? What he should have done was all he had to do was attack because the first time you attack, it doubles the attack of all of the Numeron monsters. Then you attack again, doubles the attack again. So we would have taken 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 8,000. We're going to take 1,300 total. I don't know why he did that. I really don't. That was beyond stupid. Don't be like that guy. And we have so many legacy packs. I'm going to open some real quick. For those who want to watch me open these. Oh, nice. This is our 4th one. Alright, so we're going to play one more duel. And then we're going to call it a night. This way we wrap up around 12. For those who aren't subscribed to YouTube or who don't know the YouTube channel, I'm going to share the link to it for you guys so you can check it out after. So here it is in the chat. Feel free to check that out. I've got about 8 other replay videos on there at the moment. A lot of them for meta-relevant decks that I think are really good at Master Duel in particular. So we've got decks like Tri-Brigade Luceric, we've got Drytron, we've got Sky Striker, we've got Spiral, and now we're going to have some event gameplay going up. So feel free to give that a look. Bird Call, if this goes unchecked, turn player priority, pass back to him. Oh, we played this dude earlier. He was playing a suicide deck, wasn't he? That looks familiar. Maxx C. Oh, Lord. Thank God we have the Ash. No Gamma, no Gamma, no Gamma. Alright, that doesn't count. We're playing one more. That was too quick. But I would have scooped after that. I would have been frustrated. Because we had full combo, plus we were going to get the Twin Twister out of it. So that guy was just Jesus. He was upset. He was upset he lost the coin toss. And having the Ash, you know, not much you can do. Wow, this hand is really good. If this goes unashed as well, then we're pretty good shape. Priority stuck with us. We're good. We're going to send the Cobalt Sparrow. So we have to barrel Canary early. That's the catch here. And he scoops. Oh my god. Nobody wants to play us. Nobody wants to play us. Alright. One more. If they scoop again, then we're just going to call it a night. Because I'm exhausted. But nobody wants to play us right now. God, also, we've gotten so lucky tonight. I think we've gone first like 75% of the time, if not greater. It's been crazy how many times we've gone first. Alright, this hand is not good at all. But it's playable. He's got something activatable. It passed to him. But we've got the called by, so if it's Ash or if it's Maxx C, we're fine. The crappy part, though, is if it's Maxx C, then we have to turn off our own Maxx C. And if this gets Maxx C, I might just not... What the hell? Okay. Yeah, that's funny. It's another suicide deck. Okay. Yep. God, people are nuts. Well, we're gonna build our board. We're just gonna watch him suicide, and we're gonna call it a night. Because we'll be at 9,000 metal after this, and then we'll pick this up tomorrow. I may switch decks. I may see what I can throw together through some rigorous playtesting off stream. But if you guys want to tune in tomorrow night around 9 or 10 o'clock at night, we'll be playing. If not, we'll also be playing on Sunday. All depends actually how long locals runs. I play Yu-Gi-Oh! IRL as well, a very rather competitive locals, and the guys there will take forever. Lot of deep thinking from some of these guys, really having the brain cells fire. But I will definitely be streaming at some point tomorrow night and Sunday. That's a guarantee. May also stream in the afternoon tomorrow. It all depends. If not, there will be a video if I don't stream that will be posted. And rather than... no, I should go for the Recital Starling here for sure. So we're going to Recital Starling. Our turn is going to end after the Recital Starling, because what we're going to do is we're just going to go for the... We're going to search the Beryl Canary for next turn. Yeah, I'm also surprised this guy hasn't scooped yet. But he's playing a suicide deck most likely if he's playing the Curie Photon. So what's going to happen here is we're just going to go for Draco Future, set the called by, and pass. I'm 99% sure that he's playing a suicide deck right now, or he thinks we're playing the Bird FTK, but we can't play the Bird FTK because the fusion monster can't be played. So there's no Bird FTK. And maybe he doesn't realize that he queued up for the event. But this, or maybe he's afraid we're playing, I don't know. There's no reason to play this unless you're playing the suicide deck. Yep, he's playing a suicide deck. This is funny. There it is. There's the Garbage Lord. Garbage Lord is the best card. Fuck it, why not? We're just gonna chain the Maxx C. Make him think twice. Alright guys, I'm gonna call it quits for the night, but I'm gonna go through the deck one more time. Just for those who are maybe just fast forwarding to the end. I don't know why you would do that on a 3.5 hour stream, but sorry, 2.5 hour stream. But maybe someone's out there doing that. So we're just going to go over the deck one more time. So you obviously have it there on the sidebar, but we're going to go through this one more time. We're playing 1 DD Crow, 3 Effect Veiler, 3 Cobalt Sparrow, 3 Sapphire Swallow, 3 Turqoise Warbler, 3 Beryl Canary, 2 Wagtail because it is the actual only brick in the deck, 3 Maxx C, 3 Ash Blossom, 1 Foolish Burial because it can enable our combos, 1 for 1 because everything in the deck aside from the Ash Blossom is a level 1, and the Maxx C is a level 1, so you can send monster card, special summon any of your birds, or even your Effect Veiler or your DD Crow. It doesn't really matter. Bird Calls gets you whatever birds you don't already have, so we're playing that at 3. We're playing 3 Twin Twister because, again, this is a really weird format. I didn't know what to expect when I started playing tonight, so I felt that 3 Twin Twister was safe. Same reason why I think playing 10 hand traps is safe, because I don't know what I'm playing against. If I could change anything, it may be the effect failure being switched for a Ghost Ogre. I don't own Ghost Ogre on this game, but it may be something to think about if you have the Ghost Ogre. We're then playing 2 Call by the Grave to stop all the hand traps. You know, Maxx C Ash Blossom really kills our deck in a lot of ways. Because we don't know what we're playing against. We're playing Forbidden Droplet. And I needed a really good generic trap card in case we have to go first. So I started playing Ice Dragon's Prison. I think this card is really strong, especially in the format like this. Because you're locked into Exceed monsters, you're likely going to be playing against a lot of mono-type decks. So you steal a card from their graveyard. If you're playing against Zoo, you banish both that card because... and a monster on their field, because all the zoos are Beast Warrior. Just like how if we were playing the mirror match in this deck, Ice Dragon's supposed to be really good because everything's a winged beast. Virtual World, it's not so good, but it still could be manageable because there's 2 types in that deck. There's Psychic and Worm. If we're looking at Phantom Knight, the majority of the Phantom Knight cards in the Phantom Knight deck are warriors, so you can get by with that. You know, there's a lot of really good applications for Ice Dragon's Prison in a format like this, where you know people are really only be playing Exceed decks. So if I were to go through this and tell you what decks play Exceed monsters, I know Phantom Knights are predominantly an Exceed strategy. They have realistically 5 to 6 Exceed monsters, right, at their disposal at any given time. We look at Virtual World. It's kind of half and half. It's half Synchro, half Exceed. They've got 3 Exceed monsters. You know, they can modulate levels to go into that. And then we obviously know the Lyrilusc deck. If we go to Zodiac, this is a pure Exceed. So Ice Dragon's Prison is really good for those reasons that I'm mentioning now. Even if we wanted to play something like somebody wants to play a deck like Paleo, right? Paleo has 2 Exceed monsters, and it has access to cards like Totally Awesome, which is at 1, but everything in that deck is an Aqua, plays around it really well. So that's why I'm playing Ice Dragon's Prison. For the extra deck, it's really all the only good level 1s that I could find and that I own without having to craft a ton. Playing the 1 Lionheart, it's similar to the Recital Starling in that it forces your opponent to take damage. So it's nice for cheesy little wins here and there. Utopic Future and Utopic Draco Future are your primary boss monsters in the extra deck outside of the Zeus. This is your ideal first turn play as the Draco Future because it gives you a monster negate, and it also can't be destroyed by card effects or by battle. So it's really good to just sit on. There's not a ton that I've seen so far in this odd little format that is spot removal that isn't destruction. Because you've taken cards like Nightmare Unicorn out of the meta. You've taken cards like... what's another bounce? Like in the Code Talker deck, right? They have cards like... Security Dragon and so forth, that Firewall Dragon, right? Salmon Crate has bounces like Mirage Stelio. You know, you've taken that stuff out of the meta, so Draco Future really only has to deal with cards like Infinite Impermanence being chained with Lightning Storm, you know, and so on and so on. Playing 2 Recite Starling because it searches everything. I don't own a third one. If I had a third one, I'd 100% be playing a third one over a second Promenade Thrush. Play the 1 Princess Sprite because it's a greedy card when it works, because it gets us a litany of some of the best spells and trap cards in the game. And if not, it just puts a card in our graveyard for Beryl, Canary, or Warbler. Play 3 Assembled Nightingale. This is a really good card to just kind of sit and pass on. Think of it like a stall for turn. The Fucho is the same way, but the Assembled Nightingale works really well because it's in archetype. It protects all of the Lyrilusc monsters. And as you saw on one of the replays about 30-40 minutes ago, we stacked 8 material onto it. That let it attack 8 times directly for 1,600 in attack. That's lethal and beyond. Then what we would have done was we would have gone into the Alchemic Magician, the Downer Magician, and then into Zeus. This would have been a 10 material Zeus. That's 5 wipes with the Zeus. The Assembled Nightingale is the low-key MVP of the deck in a pinch, or if you just want to cheese your way to victory, you can do it really well with the Assembled Nightingale. You could also consider playing a second Ensemblue Robin. I only own the 1 because I built this deck originally as a Tri-Brigade deck. We can't play the Tri-Brigade stuff, so I didn't feel like investing more gems than I had to into building this just for this event. And as you've seen so far, we only lost a total of 4 duels all night. So I'm not concerned with the build so much because I'm playing this for fun. I'm playing this for this. But the Ensemblue Robin is part of the opening turn. You use it to get extra bounces so you can stop your opponent from being able to do anything. The Promenade Thrush is just extra spot removal for spell and trap cards. So Promenade Thrush, as you saw a couple times, put back pesky cards that we didn't know about. I think we shuffled back a Fogblade in the Phantom Knight matchup, which kind of won us the duel. But it's just there as back row removal because we can't play cards like Nightmare Phoenix, which normally would be our back row removal in a pinch. Downer Magician exists strictly just to make Zeus bigger, and Zeus is obviously one of the best cards in the game. It's at 1 for a reason, because it is a board wipe. The Zeus in this deck is always going to have probably at least 2 board wipes. As you've seen, the best you can get up to so far is 10, just because the nature of this deck, you can get up to 10 board. You can get up to 10 material in the Zeus, which is 5 board wipes. So Zeus is your game ender, right? Your game opener is the Draco Future plus the Ensemblue. You summon the Zeus to really just win. And then the Princess Sprite, like we talked about, is a win more card. You play it when you want to get greedy because you already know you've got so much card advantage. You can play it to search the droplet. You can play it to search, to try to hit the Ice Dragon's Prison, to get the Bird Call, to get the Twin Twister. Realistically, hitting any of the 16 spells or traps that we're playing is just win more off the Princess Sprite. Because you can then just use the Princess Sprite to go into Utopic Draco Future anyway. There's a lot you can do with it. And that is the list. Again, I want to preface this by saying it's specifically for this event. Do not look at the video that I post tomorrow if you're watching the replay thinking that it is ladder worthy. It's only ladder worthy for the event ladder. Don't take this on the ranked ladder. You will lose terribly. Okay? This deck will not play through Eldritch well. It will not play through the Invoke Shaddoll deck well. It will not play through the Tri-Brigade deck well. It's only doing well in this particular format because it's built to do that. And that's all I have to say for tonight, guys. Thank you for joining the stream. Check in tomorrow. If you follow me, you can get the notification for when I go live. Give it about 5-10 minutes time. Get on. We'll play a couple games. Then I will have to leave if I stream in the afternoon. If not, we'll play all night tomorrow. But check out the video of the morning if you want to catch some of the stuff you may have missed. And thank you for watching.